A very good evening and welcome to Wolves TV Matchday Live Extra. I'm Mikey Burrows, the Hall of Famer Andy Thompson alongside me, and Lee Naylor, the former Wolves defender, is here as well. It is a big game tonight as Wolves look to arrest this three-game slide that they've been in. 3 defeats in a row, but when we did that at the start of the season, the run was ended against Watford. Can they do the same here this evening? We will talk Pedro Neto after the week in which he signed a brand new contract. We'll talk about Johnny as well. We'll go through the team news very shortly too, because there have been a couple of changes, and we'll also in just a second discuss those quotes about Hoever as well. Not to shy away from anything tonight here on Wolves TV Matchday Live Extra. Tom, I will start though with the performance and the result last time out. I guess it surprised a few just how low Wolves were in that first 45 minutes.
Yes, we knew there was going to be a battle within that game with Crystal Palace. So when we played them away from home, so we knew that we was going to be up for a fight in the game, and we just didn't deal with it. We just got overrun, so we were second to every ball. We didn't really threaten Crystal Palace at all, because you look at the back lads, what they had. The 2 centre-halves, I think that had quite an easy time on the afternoon. But again, you saw what it meant to the manager. The manager was in the dugout most of that first half, because he was quite animated usually in the games. But on Saturday, he wasn't at all, because I think he was very frustrated, and I think there was a few players out there as well.
Lee Naylor, it's funny, isn't it, sometimes, whereby winning can become a habit, but also when you go out of form, sometimes it really disappears. And it just felt like there were quite a few struggling at the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, for me, you can lose a game 2-0, and if people are putting 100% in, then you can't really moan. If you see people that are not quite at the races, then things have got to change, and the gaffer changed it, and you can see why. But the least you expect from everyone is 100%.
And why do we think that they weren't quite at that level, Tomo? What was it? Can you put your finger on anything that suggested why they performed like they did?
I don't know. So look, confidence comes into it. So look, you just watched us with it, having that extra touch, having that extra second or two on the ball. You just can't do it. Where things become instinctive when you're playing with confidence, you start to do things without really thinking about it, and pressure does build. I know they'll probably say, "Oh no, we don't feel the pressure," but we haven't really played well for 4 games. I thought we was fortunate against Leicester to get the result. 2 good finishes, but the problem that we had was is that linking things together, offering a threat to the opposition, and we really haven't done that. And and you could see the confidence. Even Kilman, who's had an outstanding season so far, there was a couple of things that just come into his gameplay a little bit, and he started to look a little bit shaky at times, and that's been very unlike him. And you can tell by just the performances and the way that we've conceded the goals that we have.
Well, the frustration was clearly there for Bruno Lage after the game, and as everyone has seen now in his post-match press conference, there were comments not just directed at Hoever, but it was around him and his early injury in that game. You've both been in situations as young players making your way through, and you've both been senior players then towards the end of your career and seeing changes. Is there just a natural thing sometimes whereby young players, they have many advantages, they have disadvantages, and that's the case with Hoever, Lee Naylor?
Yeah, like for me, Hoover's come into a game and he's not got much match time at all, and he wasn't at the races. So, it's difficult, especially when you haven't been playing games and you expect it to go straight into the first team and perform to a certain level. It's very difficult, but the gaffer seen that something wasn't right, and he changed it. And you have to accept that as a player, whether you're 18, whether you're 35. The least you've got to do is run around and try hard.
Tomo, sometimes I guess there is an element whereby they've just he's put that message out there. He's laid it down. You know, he probably has said similar things in the dressing room over the last weeks and months. Now it's out there for everyone to see. It's up to the player, and not just Kiana Hoever, but other young players to respond and act in the way the manager wants.
I'm sorry, but unfortunately, you're not going to play every game at the moment, with the way that the team were playing before those defeats. But if you're a young player, you've got to be showing something extraordinary on the training ground, got to be doing that little bit extra. You're trying to get into the side. And I think he was saying that players were moaning about it, coming to see him, not preparing themselves right for the games. And look, he can see it firsthand, the manager. He can see what's going on within the players. And I think that even though Hoever's got injured, he was saying that he wasn't prepared or hadn't prepared himself right for the game. And look, the manager says things that he's passionate about what it is, because you could see in that first half when he was in the dugout, again, as I said, usually he's animated and say, look, he looked very frustrated, especially in that first half. A little bit better in the second half. But again, you can see that the manager wants players to progress, as he's mentioned. He wants players to make sure when they are selected for the team, they are preparing properly, making sure that they're right for the game. And look, we saw it at West Ham. I thought that Hoever struggled. Again, I know he had much match time, but he struggled to get into the game for me. When he's played before, he was always bombing up down that right-hand side, showing his pace, willing to get forward. He didn't really do that against West Ham. And again, unfortunately, he got injured in the game here at Crystal Palace as well.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how he and some of the other players respond. Let's take a quick look at the best of the defeat here against Crystal Palace.
Unsettle them, that's all you need.
Gallagher's ball forwards. Wilfried Zaha with a low one in, and somehow Mateta gets there ahead of Jose Sarr and puts the ball into the empty net. Crystal Palace lead. Zaha's low cross. Mateta showed plenty of desire, but in the end he forced the ball over the line. Wolves 0, Crystal Palace 1.
No, so look, I'm sure when they have a look at this, they won't be happy with the defending. There's no way that he should be getting that ball, Mateta. It's come from a direct ball just straight over the top, a little flick in there, and all of a sudden we get caught chasing. Zaha's well onside. Oh, just nipped in front of Sarr, hasn't he?
It's just bad luck again, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, Saz, I think Saz probably brave to actually go and try and put something on it. He's got there in front of them, it's came off Saz's hands and flicked over basically on the goal line for Mateta just to put it in. But yeah, it's just disappointing, that one. That first one's got to be contested. That ball in behind Zaha, again, too easy. I think the ball's going to run out of play. He's kept it on, hasn't he? But Jose Saz just try to get something on it before Mateta makes a contact. That's just luck, pure luck.
Well, it's pure luck where it's ended up, hasn't it? Because any other time it's just sitting Sarr and going out of play.
Schlupp trying to play in behind for the win of Wilfried Zaha, and Zaha will reach it. Left-hand side of the penalty area, cutting back in field on his right foot, trying to tee it up for Mateta. Big block by Marçal. Ball rebounds to Zaha, just on the edge of the box, away from Johnny. Low cross here, Mateta forwards again, this time blocked by Cody. Johnny gets a toe to the ball, and Wolves just about work it clear. Though an awful pass back in by Neto, and Kilman just about got there ahead of Mateta. And Neto winning it back and turning and clearing, but it's just intercepted by Kouyaté. And the Wolves fans are starting to turn. A Schlupp runs in, he's brought down, it's a penalty to Crystal Palace. Maximilian Kilman, the guilty man, committed himself. Schlupp knocked it past him. It's a stonewall penalty. It's Wilfried Zaha against Jose Sarr. The fifth penalty Jose Sarr has faced this season, and all of them have been scored. He went to his right-hand side, but he couldn't reach the ball. And it's Wolves 0, Crystal Palace 2, with approaching 34 minutes played. So a disappointing result. This is the response from Bruno Lage, and you can see that man on your screen, Willy Boly, plays a Premier League game for the first time this season. He hasn't featured in the Premier League since Manchester United on the final game of the last campaign. He's been an unused substitute a number of times this season. The only minutes he's had on the field was the Spurs League Cup game way back earlier on in the campaign. He's not the only change that you can see. Johnny starts for the first time this campaign as well, having had a couple of substitute appearances as he makes his way back from injury. We'll talk about him specifically in just a moment. Rayan Nouri comes in as well, and a return for Raul Jimenez up top. We'll deal with some of those issues in turn, but Tomo, first and foremost, Max Kilman out, Willy Boly in. Thoughts?
Well, look, Kilman's played really well this season. As I said earlier on, so like he's looked a little bit shaky a couple of times, say Crystal Palace game, the West Ham game, where he's made a couple of say, look, you're not blaming him for everything that's gone on, but he probably just needed to just come out a little bit. So like Boly, more experienced, more of a presence probably, but so look, there's no doubt about it. Kilman's done absolutely exceptional in the games that he's played. But it might be just time for him just to come out, just to have a little bit of a rest from the pressures of playing in the Premier League. And look, it happens to a lot of players. I think it's happened to Neves before in recent years. So look, sometimes you're just better off just coming out of it, out of the firing line, and just having a breather for a game or so.
Yeah, Max Kilman, arguably Lee Naylor had been player of the season up until maybe a month ago, where for one reason or another, and we don't know exactly what's going through his mind, but he just seems to have lost that form at the wrong time for him.
Yeah, I mean, for me, when you're playing on the opposite side to what you play, it's not easy. Tomo was a genius at it, but not many people can do it to the, to the levels that he was playing on the right hand side of a three. Whether that that his form run out or he just lost a bit of something from what he was doing before. Sometimes you need a rest. The manager's seen that. He's brought him out for a game, and it's up there for grabs. Someone else can try and take that position.
How much of a gamble is it though, Nails, to kind of throw Willy Boly back into it? He's not had any under-23 football. I mean, he might have played in some training matches, that kind of thing, but match sharpness is going to be a factor, isn't it?
Yeah, he's obviously he's not going to be there, to the levels that he has been before. I think the manager will try and get 60 minutes out of him, if he can, at most. But hopefully, he can say, like, look, I'm ready. He's got a chance. He's got the jersey. Hopefully he performs.
Tomo, Raul Jimenez back up front. Recognised striker back in the team.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the biggest problems that we had against West Ham and Crystal Palace. Having that presence, aerial as well, so look in that centre position. You looked at many times against Crystal Palace, West Ham as well, where we're looking on wide positions and we didn't put it into the box because the lack of height that we had in there. Now, okay, Jimenez hasn't scored that many goals, but it's about his presence up there, just being influential up there, making sure he gets hold of the ball, just being a nuisance. But if you put a ball in the box there, he's going to be there or thereabouts, putting a little bit of pressure on defences. His link-up play, again, which he does really well, and his work ethic. So, again, I think it's vital that he comes in there. So, look, you're having that centre forward in that lineup. At least you can bounce things off him, and at least you can get second balls where he's competing.
We'll talk more about the team changes in just a second. We'll focus on the return of Johnny and of the new deal for Pedro Neto too. But our colleague Gemma Frith has been putting in context tonight's match.
We are back at Molineux this evening under the lights for Wolves v Watford. Now, this fixture was originally due to take place on Boxing Day, but it was postponed due to COVID. But after today, we would have played all of our rearranged matches, so hopefully our schedule from now until the end of the season will be a little less congested. Now, we've had a difficult run of results as of late, 3 consecutive losses, which is our worst form since the first 3 matches of the Premier League season. But interestingly, we ended that run of losses at the beginning of the season with a victory over Watford in September. So hopefully today we can also turn our form around with a win over the Hornets again this evening. Watford, though, are in difficult form as well. They've only had 1 win in their last 16 matches in all competitions. They are coming into today desperate for points, 19th in the Premier League table, so they will definitely be fighting to come away with a result. Our victory back in September came thanks to a goal from Hee-Chan Hwang on his debut, and he's since gone on to become our top joint goal scorer this season, alongside Raul Jimenez and Daniel Prudence. So maybe he can add to that tally again this evening.
Gemma Frith with the context of tonight's game. So amongst it, Johnny starting for the first time since April. He was only just really on his way back from his first serious knee injury to then follow it up with a second almost identical, similar, really serious knee injury in there. Both of you have played in a similar position. You'll know what it's like to suffer as well. I mean, do we have to be careful, Tomo, with Johnny? He was a little bit slow, wasn't he, kind of to get into the game when he came on Saturday. We know he's got undoubted quality, but given the amount of football he's missed in the last 2 years, you've just got to be a bit careful with him, don't they?
Yeah, you haven't. Look, say, you've got all these physios now and assessing what he can do and can't do. And look, after the repeat injury, what he had with the same knee, they'll be making sure that he's ready, making sure that he don't just come in here and he's unprepared. They've done everything they can to make sure that he's ready for the games. And again, like, he's been out a long time. He's probably a little bit rusty coming in back into the team. But again, we saw glimpses of what he can offer when he just actually come into the team, the way that he reads the game, his experience, what he's got as well. But so look, he wants to play. He wants to play games. He's been unfortunate, but you can't be holding back. You've got to make sure that you're going forward, making sure that you're getting stuck into the challenges, and I'm sure that he's going to be that. Because, look, if he's going to get injured, it could just be that he's just turning, twisting. Could be absolutely anything. So I'm hoping so that mental barrier's gone and that he can actually get through the games and make sure he keeps pushing on, and I'm sure he will.
Nails, it's a similar situation to Willy Boly almost. I mean, how long does it really take you to get up to speed and to kind of put injuries at the back of your mind? Because they're never going to go away, are they? But just to be able to focus on what you do day in, day out.
No, I mean, I was lucky enough I was never injured. So that's something I've never gone through in my career. But obviously I've got close friends and people that have. It's very difficult to get back to the levels that you once were at, and you know what you can do in your own mind, but subconsciously, there's a lot of things there that are stopping you getting to the sort of levels that you should. It's going to be difficult for the boys, and hopefully they can get some good minutes in this evening, get some good first team action in their legs, because they're really, really good players, and I think Wolves missed them.
Because I think it's a good time for him to come back in. I think it's the right time for him to do it and say, like, I know that he's been fit for probably a month now, but I think it's the right time for him to come in. I think that, look, say he's had a couple of cameo appearances, quite a long period at the weekend with Hoever going off, and I think it's just suited for him. I think that it's now or never that he's got to come into the side.
Is it a gamble, though, Tomo, to have both he and Boly on that same side, both of who will not be match fit tonight?
No, I think, look, they're experienced players. They know the game. They know how to play it. More so Boly, probably. Johnny's a little bit younger than him. But they've just
it's
got
also a different side for Johnny as well to what he played before.
But look, say, he knows how to play fullback. So, you know what I mean? So I know sometimes it can affect you the way that you play, but he's played right back before, and the way that he plays as well. So, look, there's no doubt about it. So, look, the quality players, they've got the ability to go out there and perform, but you can't just keep waiting for your players to come back and you're saying, oh, well, shall we put him in or shan't we? look, if the breakdown, I think you're better off starting, because I thought that at the weekend. I thought Johnny was probably better starting the game against Crystal Palace, actually just to give him an opportunity to have 60 minutes and then make the change. But he decided not to. I just think it's the right time for the two of them.
On the other element of a player making his way back from a lengthy injury, Lee Naylor, is Pedro Neto, who got through a good hour or so at the weekend. He drops back out tonight. Is that understandable in terms of him coming back? And is it different when you're a forward player? I mean, you were mentioning players that you knew. You know, there's a difference, isn't there, between Big Matt Murray coming back from lengthy injuries and maybe George and Dar in your time coming back from lengthy injuries. Is there a difference?
No, I mean, he's a fantastic player, and I think Wolves have missed him greatly. He's a player that can light up any team. He gives defenders an absolute nightmare. And Wolves will be thankful that he's back fit. And yeah, he does need games. He needs to get that sharpness back. But he's been in the team to get that. But for me, he's a top player, and if he can get back to where he was, all good for the Wolves.
He's got a new contract as well this week, Tomo. He's committed to the club for a long time as well, by the way, 2027. I mean, wow, that feels like a long time away. But it obviously helps because there will be suitors for him in the summer. It changes the dynamic in that respect. But it actually means quite a lot that, not just that the club has got faith in him, but that he sees his future here, perhaps.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. So it just shows you that he's got faith in the club as well. And look, so people sign contracts all the time, but if people want you or pay the right money, the contracts are nothing at all. Yeah, it's just basically he wanted to be here with the club, rightfully so, because say when he was fit, before he got his injury, he was outstanding. He was a major talent that we had. It's a shame that he's been out for a long period of time, like a lot of the players. And you look at Boly as well. It just shows you how well Kilman had played to keep Boly out the side. I know he's had injuries. I know he's long COVID as well, Boly. But it just shows you the way that he's developed Kilman. But there's no doubt about it. When Boly was playing in the side, he was awesome. So like he could see why he kept his position until he got those injuries or the COVID.
On Pedro Neto, Lee Naylor, is there an element perhaps that it sends a message to some of the other players in the squad that Pedro Neto has got a lengthy deal, that maybe the team will be built partly around him moving forwards, and that there is still a bright future?
Absolutely. When you see the likes of Neto get signing long deals, you feel more secure in a team, that the club's going in the right direction, and hopefully he'll give some players that are from the outside looking in, thinking, yeah, Wolves gonna having a right go at it for maybe next season. But when you sign in Neto on a 5-year deal, it's brilliant for the club. Absolutely massive, great player.
Well, he sat down with Gemma Frith to celebrate and discuss his new deal and everything he's been through. Here's a little snippet.
Congratulations, Pedro, and happy birthday as well. Is this new deal the best birthday present?
Thank you very much. And yes, I think so. After to spend my days with my family, that is my first gift. That for me is the best one. This one comes very well too. I'm very happy because it felt like home here, and I want to continue here.
How pleased are you now to have signed until 2027?
I'm very pleased, because I feel very good in here. It was 3 years ago that I arrived, and now I'm very happy here. I want to work a lot to conquer things on this club because we have the potential to do this kind of stuff, and we are work better and better, and I hope to conquer things.
Well, it's great to have you back on the pitch now after a long 10 months without you while you're recovering from your injury. What was it like stepping back out onto the pitch at Molineux?
Oh, it felt unbelievable, The moment I arrived home, I said to my family that it gave me goosebumps, when I go into the pitch and I start to hear my name on the crowd. It was unbelievable. I had goosebumps, like I said before. And it's a unique moment, I know that the 10 months that I spent out of the pitch, when I came in, it's worth everything.
More of that interview available on Wolves TV and across the Wolves social media channels. Let's talk about tonight's opponent, Watford. Then just the one win in the last 16 for Watford, but they have begun to turn things round, Lee Naylor, under Roy Hodgson. They've kept a couple of clean sheets away from home as well recently, and they're going to be fighting for their lives, aren't they?
Absolutely. I think when Roy came in, his task was to get them, more of a unit, stop the goals leaking in, and making it hard for teams to break them down. And I think he's doing that slowly. And I think tonight is going to be a tough game for Wolves.
Tomo, where do Wolves get at Watford tonight? What's the key aspects? Because, like Leonella says, this is an organised Watford team now. They're going to be a little bit different to the side that, let's face it, Wolves found quite comfortable to play against earlier in the season.
Yeah, I just think that Wolves have got to be on the front foot. I think that Wolves have got to take the game to Watford. I just think that in the games that we haven't played very well recently, I think the tempo's dropped. I think we're having that, as I said earlier, we're having an extra touch across the back, wanting that little bit too much time on the ball. And you've seen what's happened to us, especially against West Ham and Arsenal, where West Ham and Arsenal, because we were having that extra pass across the back, all they did was just squeeze up and nullify us, won the ball back, and ended up having an attempted goal. And again, we've just got to get out that. Can we get or break that press, what the teams have done against us? I watched the game at the weekend where Watford played Arsenal, played very well, got themselves on level terms with a good goal. But again, it's making sure that you try and nullify what Watford are going to offer, because they're going to come here a little bit of confidence, got an experienced manager who knows the game, what he needs to do, the setup, how to play Wolves. I'm sure he's done a lot of detail on that. But the ability that we've got in the squad and in the team, you've got to make sure. But also as well, you've got to be working and committing yourself to the game. You've got to work as hard as them, because that's what you're going to get from this Watford team.
Well, from Wolves' point of view, they need to bounce back after those 3 defeats in a row, and that's exactly what's on Bruno Lage's mind.
Now, the last 3 games, obviously, they have been defeats, and you add in that pressure, you're wanting them to work hard going into tomorrow night's game. What have you worked on this week to ensure it's not a 4th defeat in a row?
That's a good question. Who links what I just said? It's not about the defeat, because look, it's about the way we play our game. So, and if you remember, I was talking about 3-4 months about that question. What we learn when we play against Crystal Palace 3 or 4 months ago. That's the thing. We need to understand our team. We don't have the profile to play against these kind of teams with body contact. They want when they are defending, they are very strong to defend. They don't concede too many chances. They are a solid ball, top players. When they have the ball, they manage the ball very well. We need to find our style to play. Looking for our players and find our style. And we didn't play. We didn't play the first 45 minutes. We didn't play. We tried long balls against Crystal Palace. We in 3 or 2 touches, we lose the ball. We don't dominate the game with the ball, and without the ball, we give them 45 minutes without be aggressive. We win the balls to win the duels. If you remember, the penalties. A good example of what I'm saying. 1 man between 4 players, and after we give a penalty. So this is the thing. It's not about the defeat. It's about the way we play. When you look for the second half, 45 minutes, we create at least 6 good chances to score 1 goal and change the game. We were more aggressive. So that's the thing. We cannot be afraid to play. We have our style. We are with the ball more time. So if we have the ball, we are not defending more time. And in these games, especially that one, we give 45 minutes where we don't have the ball and we were not aggressive, solid and compact when we are defending. That's why the people said, you are mad. No, but very disappointing, because we are working 8 months and we come to this position. We cannot give these 45 minutes, especially at home, to our fans. We need to be there. Okay, we lose. But after we come and analyze the game is there. And move on. If not, we're playing our game and we lose. In the end, what you have? A handful of nothing. So we need to go. We need to go. It was our way to play. You give us this moment, 40 points. I don't want anyone comfortable with that. What I want is the people have confidence to continue to play our game with the ball, with no fear, because I'm the first guy to say that to him. Let's go work to improve our game with the ball.
Bruno wants his team to have confidence. As you can see, the light show is about to start. That's why it's dark. Hopefully you can still see me and Tomo. For some reason, Lee Naylor's been lit up there. The flames, the lights are all about to go. Let's get predictions then. Nails, you can go first. What are you thinking tonight? What's the score? Who's going to get the goals?
I think it's going to be a tight game. I think maybe 2-1 Wolves. Yeah, I think it's going to be hard though. I'm not going to lie.
You've stolen Tomo's 2. Are you going to stick with 2-1, Tomo?
I am, like I was just about to say. I can't see as many goals in it. I think that it's going to be a tight game. And as I've mentioned before, we just need to make sure that we nullify Watford by the way that we play. So I think it's going to be tight as well. So 2-1, I'm giving the Nails.
Okay, I'm feeling confident, boys. I don't know why. Maybe it's the lights. Maybe it's the atmosphere. Maybe it's whatever food we had in the press room earlier. But I'm thinking we might get a couple of goals tonight. I'm going to go for 2-0. And I think Raul Jimenez will be on the score sheet. That's my prediction. As ever, we're generally terrible at these predictions anyway. So please don't put too much money of your hard-earned money on it if you're relying on what the three of us are about to say. Don't forget, full commentary with Andy Thompson, Lee Naylor and myself is available wolves.co.uk and on the move via the Wolves app. We will leave you with the best of when Wolves beat Watford earlier this season.
Oh, nice skills from Trincao. 25 yards from goal. Trincao having a go. Well saved by Backman, low to his left-hand side. Back wide to Sarr again. Now Sissoko once more through the legs of Marçal and Ismaila Sarr. And what a chance that is. Joshua King sliding in and completely missed it. 1 minute being added on. It's a brilliant ball by Trincao to Semedo. It's the penalty area and it's saved again. And parried behind by Backman. Traore on the charge, skipping away from a couple of challenges, getting towards the byline, lifts his cross to the far post. It's a header from Jimenez and it's well saved. It's from Trincao in the end. Martinho now plays it low across to Kilman. Jimenez ahead of him. Jimenez with the flick. Here's Semedo, it's the penalty area. Nelson Semedo puts it wide. Jean Martinho stepping up now, trying to dink it in towards the near post, headed goalwards and wide again. Left-footed cross, bouncy, it's in! It's in, it's an own goal, but it doesn't matter. Wolves have finally got it into the back of the net, and for the first time of asking in the Premier League this season, Wolves have got themselves a goal, and it's Marçal getting the credit. It's Watford 0, Wolves 1. Semedo, time to set himself. Low one in towards Pedence. Pedence beats his man, chips it towards the far post. Has to be. It's scrambled in, surely over the line. It's definitely in now. And it's a debut goal for Hee-Chan Hwang. Watford 0, Wolves 2. Lovely move, lifted to the far post. The scramble was there. Hee-Chan Hwang provided the finishing touch.